Welcome to 365 Math. In this video, we're going to be looking at the addition and subtraction of surds. Like algebraic terms, they must be like terms before they can be added or subtracted. For example, if we have 2x plus 5x, this simplifies to 7x, but 2x plus 5y cannot be simplified because these two are not like terms. For them to be like terms, the variables have to be the same, like what we have here, 2x and 5x, then we got 7x. But if it is 2x and 5y, it cannot be simplified. And it is the same with surds. If we have, for example, 2 root 5 plus 7 root 5, the answer would be 9 root 5. We will simply add the coefficient. The one that I'm calling the coefficient is the number before the square root. So 2 and 7 before the square root, and we would get 9 root 5. But similarly, if we have an example such as 2 root 5 plus 7 root 6, this cannot be simplified because the two are not the same. Root 5 and root 6 are not the same. So just like algebraic terms, for us to add surds, they have to be similar. And I'm going to go over and give you a couple of examples so that you fully understand what it is that you can add when we're talking about surds. We are going to simplify these three. Part A says 10 root 3 plus root 75. And we can have 10 root 3, and we are going to change this root 75, and by changing it we want to remain at least with root 3. So what we're going to do is to multiply 25 by 3, and this will be equal to 10 root 3 plus this root 25 times 3 can be rewritten as root 25 times root 3, and we can then have 10 root 3 plus the square root of 25 is 5, and we remain with 5 root 3. Now that we have 10 root 3 plus 5 root 3, which are considered as like terms, we can then add and say 10 plus 5, that gives us 15 root 3 as our final answer. Looking at B, we have 8 root 3 plus 2 root 3 minus 6 root 3. We are going to add 8 root 3 plus 2 root 3 gives us 10 root 3 minus 6 root 3. Now 10 minus 6 gives us 4, and we have root 3. This is the simplified solution, 4 root 3. And then part C, we have root 50 plus root 18. Now we can get these two to be similar by multiplying. Root 50 would be root 50, that's root 25 times 2, plus root 18 would be root 9 times 2. Remember, I said in my other video, for you to simplify this root 50 or root 15, we try as much to find whether we can get a perfect square from the given data. So here we had 50, and we know we can multiply 25 by 2 to get 50, and 25 is a perfect square. Same goes with root 18, where we got 9 times 2. 9 is a perfect square. So now moving forward, we then say root 25 times 2, which can be rewritten as root 25 times root 2 plus root 9 times root 2. And the square root of 25 is 5, hence we have 5 root 2 plus the square root of 9 is 3, hence we have 3 root 2. Now we can add 5 plus 3 and we get 8 root 2. There is our final answer. Example number 2, we are going to simplify these two. Part A, root 200 minus root 18 plus root 72. So again, we'll try to find whether we can get perfect squares from the roots that we have. And from 200, we can get a perfect square by saying 100, because 100 is a perfect square. So that would be 100 times 2 minus, for 18, we have root 9 times 2. And then for 72, we have root 36 times 2. Then we can simplify it. Root 100 times 2, that would be the square root of 100, which is 10 root 2 minus root 9 times 2, that is 3 root 2, because the square root of 9 is 3, plus the square root of 36 is 6, so that would be 6 root 2. Now we say 10 minus 3, that gives us 7 root 2 plus 6 root 2. Now we have 7 plus 6, which gives us 13 root 2. It is very simple if you only start off by looking for the perfect square from the given data. And then part B, we have root 80 minus 5 root 45 plus 6 root 20. In this case, we are going to try and work around with this, because you can see that the numbers that we have in the square roots, they are different. We have 80, we have 45, and we have 20. But we can get a common factor from these, and by looking at this, we can get a common factor of 5. Working around with 5, we can then say, looking for a perfect square for 80, we would have 16 times 5. Hence, we have, for the first one, we have 16 times 5, subtract 5 root, we have 45, so that is 9 times 5, and we're adding 6 root. For 20, we have 4 times 5. Now moving on, we have the square root of 16 times 5, that gives us 4 root 5, subtract 5, the square root of 9 times 5, then that gives us times 3, because the square root of 9 is 3, so we have times 3 root 5 plus 6, the square root of 4, that is 2, so we have 6 times 2 root 5. Now we then move on and say 4 root 5 minus 5 times 3, that is minus 15 root 5 plus 6 times 2, that is 12 root 5. Now adding and subtracting, we have 4 plus 12, that is 16 root 5, and we're subtracting 15 root 5. What I just did here is to take the positive numbers, that was 4 and 12. So now that we have 16 root 5 minus 15 root 5, if we subtract this, we get 1 root 5, and 1 root 5 is the same as root 5. And then the last example that I'm going to do is whereby we're finding the perimeter of a shape, and that is example number 3. We're asked to find the perimeter of this rectangle, and we have two sides given, that is the square root of 490 centimeters and the square root of 360 centimeters. And by this, we can change these values. We can say the square root of 490 is similar to the square root of 49 times 10, and also the square root of 360 is similar to the square root of 36 times 10. The square root of 49 times 10 gives us 7 root 10, and the square root of 36 times 10 gives us 6 root 10. Now to find the perimeter, we are going to say P, denoting for perimeter, is equal to 2 multiplied by 7 root 10 plus 6 root 10. And we get 2 multiplying 7 plus 6, that is 13. So that is 13 root 10. And now we multiply 2 times 13, and that gives us 26 root 10 centimeters. That is the perimeter of this rectangle. So there you have it, guys. That is how you add and subtract surds. You just treat them the same way that you treat an algebraic term. They have to be the same, in the sense that the numbers in the square root have to be similar for you to add or subtract. I hope you learned something. Thanks for watching. Please do hit the subscribe button for more videos. See you in the next one.